Agents. Good to see everybody. Brian Curtis, Dale Archdekin back for another riveting week of Cash Call. I know you guys just got to get your stories in, man. You know what I mean? You can't miss an episode. I get it. So we're back again. And, Brian, this week I have a call that I want to listen to. And the funny thing is, so what's happening a lot, and I don't know if you're experiencing this in your market, but I'm definitely seeing it across the country, is that with such low inventory and such high competition, there's a lot more calls that are coming in from buyers who are already working with an agent or already seeing things with agents who are just trying to get into a property, right?
Absolutely. It's a real thing. Yeah,
Is that going on with you guys too?
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing, and it's funny. I talked to a good friend of mine who's the number one agent in Sacramento, and he said this.
Wait, I think we can say his name, right?
Yes, Sunit Agarwal.
Say his name, Sunit.
Shout out Sunit, so number one team in Sacramento, as I understand
His name was Sunit, and he's the number one agent in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's got a team there. It's not him by himself. But anyway, he said that he called me up and said, "What do we do? People, occasionally we're getting fired because there's this illusion, because it's really an illusion, that the agent wasn't doing a good job, because here's the thing. If you're one of 50 agents or that's submitting an offer, there's a chance, even if you write a really, really good offer, you're going to lose. I mean, it's just math. At the end of the day, I don't say you got a 1 in 50 shot, because there's probably 25 of those offers that are garbage that don't, good agents aren't doing. But we're all learning. Like, I feel like some of us who really went aggressive, say 6 months ago, we were winning more offers because we were creative with escalation clauses and appraisal gaps and all that stuff. But everybody in the country knows about that now. So It's not a mystery anymore. So there's a real good chance you're going to lose. If you're competing against 50 people, that's not your agent's fault. But at the end of the day, who are they going to blame?
It's always
there's a lot
of
that that's going on as well. And I think it's important to understand that. And I think it's important to have that discussion with your client the second you write the first offer. Like, look, we're competing against 37 other people. I need you to understand that before we even put ink to paper. I need you to understand there's a lot of other offers on this house. And I think that's an important discussion to have, because if you don't have it, you know what happens? They go, my agent sucks. He didn't get me the house. Right. And you know what? You did suck because you didn't explain it to him.
My agent, we've tried to buy 20 houses and he hasn't made it happen and he's fired. And what I hear is, dude, your agent's working their ass off, and you may or may not have taken their advice, and then you fired them, is what's happening.
But in real seriousness, though, we have to lay that out for clients and make them understand, or you know what? In some ways, they're right to get fired. If you don't have that discussion and say, look, we're competing against all these other people, these are the things you're going to have to do, and you still might lose. That's part of our job, because giving them all the information to make a good decision is our job. Anyway, I'll get off that high horse there and just move on.
Great. All right, so I'm going to play this, and for everybody listening, I know some of you might be like, hey, this guy's going to ask if the person's working with an agent, and some of you might be like, hey, we know what Brian's opinion is. I think it's totally fine to ask that. So when I play this call, Brian, what I want us to focus on is what happens after that, because what happens after that would have happened regardless of whether he did this or not, right? Awesome. However he got to it, really what I want to listen to is we run into that situation where these people are out there looking and they have another agent or other agents, right? And so what happens from there is the critical thing that people need to be trained on.
Perfect. Let's listen to it and see what we can do.
Cool. Let me bring up my screen over here. We got to get to 1 minute 20. All right, so we're going to hear a little bit of his discovery, because the discovery isn't fantastic.
Yeah, that's better.
Can you hear that?
Okay, so what is your timeline as far as moving? 3 months, 6 months, a year?
August.
August. Okay. And then do you have to sell currently in order to buy the next one, or are you renting?
No, I'm renting.
Okay. And then do you already have a pre-approval, or have you not went in that direction yet?
We haven't done that, but there shouldn't be a problem with that at all.
So he's kind of, it is so dry. There's like no personality in here, right? He's banging the questions out.
LP
Yes,
Mama.
yeah, these are the questions that need to be answered, but you can deliver them with a little more interest, as though you're interested in the person, and a little more personality, right? Use a little more flair. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay, and then are you currently working with another real estate agent at the moment?
Yeah,
Okay, you are.
but she's just busy right now, and we kind of did this on the fly right now. So
Okay. Are you 100% committed to that agent at all?
is there I mean, is that a problem if we are, or?
Well, no, just because if I'm going to be taking you guys, trying to get.
All right, so now, yes, he asked directly about agent. I do like that he followed up with are you 100% committed to that agent? I would have liked him to cut off or whatever the other words were he said after he asked if she was 100% committed. But then beyond this, like how you deal with that situation, I think I want to give people feedback on that. But let me ask you first, Brian, what do you think about him asking, are you 100% committed to the agent after she reveals that there is an agent?
So when somebody says to me that, that are if we get to the point, no matter how we ask the question, but we get to the point that we find out they have another agent. So I don't love the question, are you 100% committed? I'm more subtle, and this guy's very dry. Bam, 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 bam. He's
Yeah,
reading
he
off a
is.
piece of paper, from what I can tell. He's
Yeah.
literally going, "Oh, got to ask this question." And so, for me, it's more along the lines of, "Okay, so out of curiosity, why aren't you calling your agent? Why are you calling me?" "Oh, my agent's unavailable right now." Fabulous. So,
She's too busy. We just did this out of the blue.
yeah, no, I completely understand that, and I appreciate that. Here's my concern. Bob, Fred, whatever your name is. My concern is that if I go show you the house, then and you're committed to this other agent, that you're going to work with them. I honor and respect that, but please understand I work on commission. If I go open this door for you and you're working with somebody else, in essence, I'm working for free. And our brokerage policy is that if you're already working with somebody else, that we don't cross that line. You've got this, sounds like you're 100% committed to this person over here. And with that in mind, I don't want to step on their toes. I don't want to cause commission issues. And no offense, man, but I don't want to work for free. And I'm gonna kind of joke about that. No offense, but I just don't want to go work for free. So if you're interested in working with me, I'd be thrilled to work with you. That being said, if your agent's too busy, then I'm not sure where to go with that. And I'd probably do that and let them talk.
Got it. Okay, good. So let's hear what he did, and then I'm going to give some of my advice too.
Perfect.
You guys in for there today in the home and say you guys absolutely love the home, then we would have to put in the offer with me because I'm taking you guys out and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But if you feel, because we're one of the top 1% teams in the Chicagoland area, so that's just kind of it. So I don't know if you're 100% committed to the agent right now.
So he didn't know where he was going. He starts talking a little bit in circles, right? He
Mhm.
did start doing some of what you did, which is, if I show you the home, that kind of stuff. So I think that two ways that he could have gone is if he had the mental, space to think about it, he could have asked, got it. So what do you like best about the agent that you're working with? Or how did you choose the agent that you're working with, right? If he had time to think about it, right? But, the guy's probably in his car. He's banging out his discovery questions. He accidentally steps on a landmine. He's like, oh shit, what do I do now, right? I think it's fine to go to the explanation where she kind of got wise to the game and she's like, is it a problem if I'm committed to that agent? Well, if I take my time to go and show this home to you, I will be representing you in the purchase of this sale, and your agent you're working with would not, unless you have a signed agreement to work with that agent. Do you have a signed agreement with that agent? Right? And that's a distinction point. Yes, I have a signed agreement is I can't show you that property unless you want to break up with that agent or pay them out of your own pocket. Or no, I don't have a signed agreement. Okay, great. Now I can continue on with this conversation and see where I can, what value you think you're getting and where I can add value.
Yeah. And this is a real tough situation. At the end of the day, there's probably no win here. I don't know that for a fact, but it feels like there's no win here.
Yeah, it's tough. And the thing about this, I'm doing trainings on these things, and this woman, obviously, it's like there's kind of 4 categories of people when we get them on the phone where this kind of situation happens, where they either have an agent or they've booked showings with other agents or booked appointments with other agents. It's like they're either they either are doing it unintentionally because they just don't know any better, or they're doing it unintentional and they don't have an agent, or they're doing it unintentionally and they do have an agent, right? This person is doing it unintentionally, but she has an agent. So at some point, you're going to have to tell her how things work.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've had this discussion before, but making the assumption that the public understands how we get paid or how our process works is foolish. Like, if you're an engineer and you work for Google, I don't understand how you get paid. I don't understand what your bonus structure is. I don't understand. I mean, I'm assuming you get paid, but I don't know. And why would we assume that somebody would understand our industry? It's crazy though, How's a car salesman get paid? I believe they work on commission. I don't know, but it's foolish to make the assumption that people understand how we get paid. Is my point.
Got it. Yes, absolutely. And then I was going to say there's the people who are actually doing it intentionally, right?
Mhm.
Where they're like, yeah, I have an agent that I'm working with. They've showed me some stuff, and I'll buy a house from anybody that shows me the property. Can you show it to me tomorrow? Right?
Yeah.
So they're doing it intentionally. Now you have a business decision to make, right?
Yep.
Hey, you told me you're going to buy that house through me. If I show it to you, you have to decide how busy am I and how exceptionally qualified do you sound, or are you hungry and you run out and show it, right? That's totally up to you. What
Yeah.
do you guys typically do on your team?
So if somebody it says that they're not committed to somebody else, we generally try and get in front of them. And so that means that, I'm going to go show this house. And if you don't like this house, now I have to show you the value of working with us. And here's the thing. And in our industry, we're against this, but I'm not. Sometimes we got to earn the business. Like, show up, do a good job, prove that you're better than the 7 other people who have shown them houses, and get them to sign a buyer agency agreement. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I told this story the other day. I remember standing in the kitchen of an agent who now worked on our team. I was selling their house, and the people refused to keep me exclusive. And they said, well, if you find us something, we'll go look at it with you. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that, but I'm good. And I told them no. And you know what? Because it wasn't worth it to me. I didn't need to chase this person. I'll chase them once because in this case, it was my listing and I feel fiduciary to show that property. But I'm not going to, if they're not willing to commit after that, then, the first one's free. I will go show you a house, but if you're not willing to commit to me after that, then, go find somebody else and, run around with them. And you need to come up with your own policy. But I will say this, get in front of somebody. Don't try and close that concept on the phone if you can get in front of them. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to lose, but that's sales. Like, you wasted an hour of your time. But I promise you, if you waste 10 hours a week doing that, 8 or 9 of those, you'll win.
I was going to say, man, please show me the sales job where it's guaranteed win, right? If I step up to the plate, I get a hit. That's definitely not the case.
I'll tell you
people
something
forget
that's
that.
made me a lot of money over the last 20 years. Other agents going, well, if you're not willing to, work with me and me alone on the phone, then I'm not interested in you. Or you're not pre-qualified, I'm not showing you a house. Send all those people to me. I'll close 80% of them.
Yeah, I mean, I have multiple stories of one, for instance, where I took a listing, I get a sign call on my listing. This young guy's like, hey, we're interested in that property. We'd be move up buyers. We have a house to sell. No, it's not listed. And no, we're not pre-qualified. Right. And it's like a 30-minute drive to go and show my listing. And I was like, all right, I'll take a flyer. I'm gonna go show it to you. And they ended up purchasing it. Like, how often does that happen? They actually bought it and they listed their house with me. So yeah, just one of those kind of things, man, where you gotta take the gamble.
Yeah, and it's math though, right? At the end of the day, especially let's talk about that pre-qualification thing. 4 other agents have said they won't show them property until they're pre-qualified. I go show them the property, and they got a 625 credit score, but I give them an FHA loan, and they close. And I know that's hard in this market, but I'm just saying it's not don't do sales prevention is really
Oh,
my
yeah.
point.
Yeah,
So-
definitely early in my career, I would not even like, I would bill you for the phone time if you were not yet pre-qualified. Like I was that hardcore about it, right?
You owe me $7. We've been on the
Yeah,
phone
right.
for 12 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sending you an invoice for this phone time because you're not ready to buy a house today. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Good. Excellent. So Brian, do you have anything you want to listen to today?
I do, and I'm going to start. I actually have two very short calls. Well, one of them's 18 minutes, but I only want to play a minute of it. But the first call, and I just want to play it and get and listen to your feedback. I know what I believe, and I think that I think we're on the same page, but we'll find out here in a second. So.
Hey,
Yeah, morning. How are you?
I am well. So it looks like you're doing some online shopping today, huh?
Hold on, pause this.
Okay, so I
Was this an inbound?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it was a callback because apparently your ISA or agent knew who this person was.
It's Zillow.
Zillow. Okay, so Zillow connected them.
Yep.
The lead says, "Hello, how are you today?" Your agent or ISA said, "Looks like you're doing some online shopping."
Yes, and it's an agent.
Okay. Okay.
So
Agent.
perfect. Here you go.
was looking for some homes nearby in the center town. So there is one property that we wanna have a look at it, kind of have a visit. I'm just not sure when is the right time.
Well, it kind of depends on your schedule. I'm going to try to work around your schedule. You're talking about 710 Morgan Street, is that right?
Just one moment. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a brand new home, as you probably know. And it's still showing active. I probably should call the
Pause.
listing agent just to confirm because
No. Well, let's get this guy in for training. So here's how that should have gone. You're calling about 710 whatever address, right? Yeah, that's it. Great. When would you like to go see that property? I'd like to go see it at this time. Fantastic. I'm going to book that. How long have you been looking for homes? And are you looking to move in or are you looking for an investment property? Go into discovery.
Absolutely. And I agree with 100% of everything Dale said. I'm going to play the last minute of this and see if I can get Dale to get more excited.
sometimes they're actually pending. Someone actually made an offer that's been accepted and they haven't indicated that on my website. So, and your first name is Ashik, is that right?
Yeah, that's
Dude.
correct.
Does
Ashik,
it get
can
worse?
I get a phone number and I'll call you right back. Let me call the agent and see if it's still available. But if it is, we'll go look at it.
Yeah, sure. It's the same number, 484-424-9899.
Pause this. Now, Ashik is a smart guy. Ashik's like, you got to call the listing agent? I could call the listing agent. Let me see if I can call the listing agent. What do I need to waste my time with you for?
I'll stop sharing this. So, guys, I can't say this loud enough or enough times. Set the appointment. Don't discuss the inner workings of our process. It's not important. First of all, they don't care, right? Like, again, I don't want to know how to put the car together. Like, I go to a car lot, I want you to tell me the car is awesome. I don't want you to tell me that half of it was assembled in Kentucky and the other half was in Canada and they shipped some parts from Germany. I don't care.
I want to give another analogy. This is what just happened. I'm looking at a car online, right? And I get the balls up to like make a call to, I don't know who or what they're going to be, but it's probably going to be a salesperson. I'm like, hi, I'm interested in that car you have there. And the person that answers goes, I don't really know so much about that car. Let me call the guy who sells the cars.
Right.
And I'll get back to you. And I'm like, well, who the fuck are you? Let me call the guy who sells the cars. Why would I talk to you?
You guys were, and I love the analogy, Dale, because the reality is if you can't bring them a value, you have no value.
Right.
So that sounds really sometimes it's the simple stuff, right? So real simple. And Dale said this, guys, especially if you've got these inbound sign calls, and sign calls, theoretically, that's your own listing. That won't be as big a deal. You know, any advertising you're doing that you're getting incoming calls on, or even if you're not, somebody says, I'm interested in 123 Main Street. Fabulous. When would you like to take a look at 123 Main Street? Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Perfect. I will set that up for Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Let's just say today at 3 o'clock. I don't want to go into, it's not going to be available stuff, but great. I'll set that up for today at 3 o'clock. And then, by the way, so how long have y'all been looking? Go into just set that appointment. When someone's saying, I want to go see a property, the answer is always yes.
It's always yes.
It's always yes.
You want to see it in 5 minutes? Great. We need to talk quickly.
Yeah, seriously. So step one, and it's funny because we've talked about this before. I believe in 4 steps of the process. Step 1 is build rapport. You're gonna skip that step when someone says, I want to go see the house right now.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna go back to that step and build some rapport after you've agreed to give them what they want in this scenario. Because here's the thing, if what they want is just to know the price, then we want to kind of avoid that. But what if they want is to meet you in person? The answer is always yes to that.
Right.
I don't care if that property's pending. I don't care if that property is brand new and it's just a dirt lot at this point in time. We'll go stand on the dirt lot and we'll talk about how great this house is going to be. And maybe it's not the house for you, but let's give you something else. Don't miss that opportunity to get in front of these people.
I can tell you what this agent was doing, man. This is the way that things work in his brain. He was like, okay, you want an appointment to go see it. Well, in order to see it and make this a viable appointment, I have to be able to sell it to you. And in order for me to sell it to you, I have to know if it's still for sale, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way his brain was working. And what you and I are trying to convince people is you have to break away from that shit. Forget about the goddamn sale. In order to sell a house, you have to have a ready, willing, and able buyer, right? Yeah. So I don't give a shit about what house I can sell you or whether the house is available or whether it burned down yesterday before I know whether or not you are a ready, willing, and able buyer.
Absolutely. And ultimately, and this is the analogy I've been making, if you're a person who's going to just say, let me call a listing agent, see if I can set an appointment for that, or let me call the listing agent and find this and this and this out, or that's called customer service relationship person. You're a CSR, and there's plenty of those jobs available all over the country for $12 an hour.
You are not a salesperson.
And if you want to make $12 an hour, then provide people data instead of information and value. If you want to be a salesperson and make 6 figures a year, then you have to provide value, not information. So, and I know that seems like a very small distinction, but it's a distinction that every good salesperson gets, right? Every good salesperson goes, ooh, now I have an opportunity to get in front of somebody who I can turn into my client, who then I can service. But until they're your client, you're just your customer sales relationship manager person, and that does not pay very well. So
yeah, exactly.
But I want to play we got just 2 minutes, and this is a kind of a fun call. And here's the thing, and there's nothing really wrong with this at all, nothing really for us to critique outside of, I want you to notice this agent did a great job of finding an opportunity to build rapport. And this may seem 101 for many of you listening, but I listen to a lot of phone calls that people miss the opportunity to do what this agent does.
Connected over 2432 Magnolia Drive.
Yes, that's the one.
All right, let me just pull this up real fast.
Doesn't do a perfect job of doing discovery.
All right, tell me a little bit as to what caught your eye about this home.
So she didn't.
She's back.
Yeah, she didn't wait long. It was only about a 10-second pause. I still would have preferred that she asked that question prior to that, but it wasn't that minute of click, 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 click that makes my stomach hurt. So
I make people practice without their computer.
I like it. It's a good idea.
No phone, no computer. You can't look anything up. You have to do it.
I love it.
My husband and I'm from Rogers, Arkansas, and we just been interested in maybe getting some property there. We live in San Diego.
But I'm from San Diego.
Oh, really? No way.
Yes,
What are the chances?
I am. When I send you my contact information, you'll see I have a 619 area code.
So I know that was a very simple and short call, and actually it's 18 minutes long. But I want to congratulate this agent for saying the second she saw an opportunity to build rapport, she built it. And I probably wouldn't have been nearly as excited as she was because I'm not that excitable. But nonetheless, she took the second, hey, I got a 619 area code. That's the San Diego area code. And they built great rapport because of that. And because we're at the end, I didn't want to spend a bunch of time on that. But guys, one of the things that I see people do is go, oh, great, I'm from San Diego. Move on. spend 30 seconds, spend a minute. And then she does. She talks about the different areas and different things. Don't miss the opportunity to build rapport. And I literally hear it all the time. It's like, why didn't you do that? And they go, oh, yeah, I'm from San Diego. With that in mind, why don't you do it? This is an opportunity. And I like football, you like football. Now, here's the thing. I'm not talking about those people who make those fake rapports. And don't be that person who everything that person says, oh, I love that too. I love that too. You like food. I like food. You like music. I like music. I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. But again, literally they have the same area.
The other thing I don't like is when those salespeople right now, you said you like football, right? So it's probably going to be okay for you, but I'm going to tell people a dirty secret. I don't watch sports, right? So what I don't like is when there's an interaction where a salesperson's like, let's assume you're like me and you don't watch sports. Brian, hey, good to meet you, buddy. How are those Razorbacks doing?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, okay. Yeah, okay. Can we just get to business, please? Yeah, I see the attempt, my friend. Maybe you uncover something like what you're talking about that you can then relate to, have a story about. Your sister did that. You had a neighbor that did that. You like it too. Who knows? But wait for me to reveal something. Don't try to spark it up with a fake assumption.
Right. Because again, just because I live in Arkansas doesn't mean that I follow the Razorbacks. I mean, I did when I was in Arkansas, but maybe I hate football, I don't, but maybe I do, I'm kind of a weird guy. I like cycling. I don't go on and every conversation I get into go, oh, do you like cycling? Because that's weird. So making the assumption I like the Razorbacks because I live in Arkansas is a crappy assumption. And here's the worst part about it. It'll work about half the time.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part. It's kind of like, I'll make another analogy. I play golf, right? So sometimes you hit a shot that just is an amazing shot. The worst thing about that is you're going to try it again. And the next 9 times you're going to flub it because it's really, really, really hard. That's this analogy. When you throw this Hail Mary that you must assume that I like this.
Your random dart. Oh, I know you because you're from Philadelphia. How are the Eagles? I'm like, okay, bro, let's move this along. I got time. I got stuff to do.
Yeah, who are the Eagles again? Right. I know you know who the Eagles are. But nonetheless, you're and again, the worst thing is that sometimes it works.
It does. It does work, but authentic, so not fake, authentic, rapport.
Yeah, because now moving forward, Dale has to talk about the Eagles, and they're going to ask him about quarterbacks and do we have the right draft choice? And Dale's going to go.
Dude, I bartended at a sports bar to put myself through college, and I learned how to smile and not engage in sports conversation. So that's an art.
Yeah, no, it really is. And
it's an art to not reveal that you have no idea what these people are talking about because you need them to tip you.
Yeah, there you go. And in essence, we're kind of doing the same thing, right? But you don't want to tell the guy who's got, an entire room dedicated to the Eagles that you don't like the Eagles. Right, but they don't want to start talking about Ron Jaworski and you're like, who? So anyway. But
excellent. All right, good. Cool. Brian, great seeing you again. Everybody who joined us today, thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see everybody next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.